Hello, everyone. We are here with our sixth episode of the Journey Hub, and we are live here from Toronto. So we have a very special guest with us. She in itself is a veteran in the industry. She has worked for more than 25 years in the advertising and marketing industry across agencies. She's currently the CEO of her own company consultancy, that's Citrine Consultancy, and she is a professor at Sheridan College in marketing and advertising course. So say hello to Cynthia Rubino. Hi, Cynthia. It's been a
Hi,
pleasure to have you.
thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it's truly an honor to be here. So thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you. So we'll start with a round of questions. So the first question that, to our audience that will also want to know, and we ourselves also want to know that we want to know about your consultancy. Tell us more about your consultancy and how does it help to the market and to the audience in large?
Great question. Obviously, I get that all the time. So Citrine is very much a business that is based on both media, advertising, marketing. So it's very much about the brand, but it's also about the people. And so my platform is all about to educate and advocate. So in terms of educating, I partner up with clients that just need assistance with their marketing plans, strategic insight, negotiation, anything and everything to do with executing a campaign, marketing strategies. But the flip side of that is I also advocate, and I advocate on behalf of mental health, on behalf of diversity and inclusion. And so, although I wear both hats as an educator and being a professor at Sheridan College and helping the new generation in terms of teaching them about the industry, I'm also taking care of them and taking care of them in terms of their mental health so that when they do enter our industry, they'll be a bit more prepared than perhaps I was.
That's pretty much a great answer, especially with the time that we are living in
Yes.
and the mental health being coming in play largely because of the things that we are going through. And I also wanted to tell to our audience that, Cynthia has been so great in getting her students placed, especially for the internships. I have myself have seen 10 posts on LinkedIn, people sharing and telling their story and giving thanks to Cynthia. So I really appreciate, the fact that what you're doing currently, especially to the students and the international students, getting them into the Canadian advertising industry. It's been great.
Yes, and I owe that portion to Sheridan College. Sheridan College has definitely played a pivotal role in that, and they see the importance of experiential education. They understand how important it is to simply just open the door. At the end of the day, the student really needs to be able to sell themselves and be able to choose the right employer that benefits them in terms of their passion and their career choice. But I believe that it's sort of our duty to help them and just get them set. Yeah.
That's amazing, and hopefully more professors and ecologists will have an understanding of that things because probably the first job is the most difficult job to get. So it's so important to get this like mentorship from your professor, from a person who been in the industry for so long. Because yeah, we all remembered ourselves when we're trying to get this first job, you're not thinking about your mental health, about employer, about anything. You just want a job and money and you're stressed. So it's so important to get this understanding what's going to be like for you in this job and like how you're going to deal with this. So thank you so much for the support that you're giving to students. And honestly, you've been doing so many things, and yes, I'm repeating probably the words of triage, but like you're doing so many things for students so far. So yeah, thank you so much for that.
Oh, it really means the world to me to hear that, just to know that what I'm doing is working and is helping. And I think if we can just all do our part, then I think we'll be that much better. So
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, moving to our second question, more about your career, what you've done in your life. What is the biggest achievement that you had in your life? Something that you're proud of, and why?
That is such a loaded question about achievements because I feel that there really isn't one massive achievement, especially when it comes to my career because I've done so many um, achievements. But in terms of my career started at Cassette, and I was there for over probably 15 years. Started as a planning assistant, and in terms of cassette, I'll never forget, I won the Ad Club of Toronto Newspaper Buyer of the Year 3 times in a row consecutively, which has never happened ever in the history of ad clubs. So I am very proud of that. And while I was doing that, I had 2 children at home. And for me, that was a big deal, trying to juggle being a mom and trying to have the career hat on. And so for me, that was such a personal achievement. But then as my career sort of grew and sort of journeyed into and morphed into years on, and it's funny because then I was on the board of Ad Club of Toronto, and I launched Mindful Morning. And Mindful Morning was really important because I knew that that was absent from the industry. Nobody was really talking about that space, and I thought it was important. And at that time, I was the director of giving, and so for me, it was my way to give back, and Ad Club's way to give back. So I created that platform. And then ultimately, launching my own company. That to me is a dream in itself because I had enough courage to be able to go off onto my own and be able to deliver what I felt was important. Um, and so for me, it's sort of the stages in my life and how all of them meant something to me. Yeah,
And that's very inspiring. I would say that all these achievements are so different,
yeah,
but they are so important. I think it just brings you to the next step in your life, to something bigger, and like give you probably more motivation, like and passion to do what you love to do. And what you just said about your company, it's so great when people actually start doing something that you love, and when they feel like sharing and giving to others, that's what they do. And just to the second point about your achievement about being a mom, so on LinkedIn, actually, I saw today a post by one of the industry professionals publishing a resume of being a mom and explaining the experience that they got. So they said like, oh, I raised 2 children while working full time and helping my husband get a job. And I think it's so important. Sometimes people underestimate how much time it takes, how much passion and I don't know your work to take. I don't know. Probably I don't know personally yet, but I feel like it's really underestimated, and this is such a great achievement that you should be proud of.
it is. Still is. Still is.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one point from Darina, what just mentioned. It's very hard for people, especially the ones who are just coming to industry. So giving them the kind of knowledge that right now Cynthia is giving, and along with that, the path that she has all gone through. A veteran in itself from the last 25 years, getting all those things done when the things weren't that easy in itself is an achievement. And people know their mistakes a lot. It's hard for people sometimes to know their achievements, and they might be knowing it, but it's hard to explain it in a proper way.
It is.
People should know that what they've achieved in life and they should be proud of. So I really appreciate that, Cynthia, you have shared those things with the audience. People can listen to it and can learn that, winning 3 times straight in a row, the kind of awards for the ad club week award, it's in itself is a big thing. And you should deliver those things in order to win those things.
It took a lot of, this industry is not 9 to 5, and I always say that to my students. It's not 9 to 5 because you have to understand we are a service-based industry, and media itself is constantly, it's 24/7, and it morphs, and it's fluid, and all that fun stuff. So it's important for you as a person to continuously grow, to continuously go with the ebbs and flows of the industry and not be so hard on yourself, and to consistently work hard. You have to have that work hard, work smart attitude. And trust me, it will open up, doors will open up, opportunities will open up, and then you will see all your hard work come to come to fruition, really.
That's a
So,
great point.
mhm.
Working hard.
Oh yeah.
Working hard. I want to move to my third question, which is like somewhat related to it.
Mhm.
So, while working hard, working in the industry, who are the people who were supportive to you, or who I would say who were the influential people to you while you were working in the industry? And right now too, like I won't say that people are always learning. So you must be having some influential people with whom you see and learn. So yeah, who have been those influential people?
Great question, but I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say that it starts from the home base. Because if you have support from the home base, then when you leave those doors, you're sort of relaxed and able to focus and concentrate on your work. So I had a very strong foundational home. My husband was very supportive. My mother was absolutely amazing. I'm blessed to have two great children. And so when I left the house, I knew that everything was going to be okay. So for me, that's important. Secondly, in terms of mentorship in the actual industry, I was very lucky to have very strong women in media. I was very lucky to be surrounded by very strong women in media. And, for me, it was Lauren Richards, Kathy Collier, Cindy Drown, Sherry Metcalf, Diane DeVries, Maryland Pisona, and Brooke. And um, all those ladies, in some way, shape, or form, provided me with a lot of guidance, a lot of mentorship. They were tough. They were tough, and they were intelligent, and continue to be, and very strong. And for me, it was a reflection that women can lead in this industry, that women can be fierce leaders in their own right, and that they can still conduct themselves with professionalism and laughter and joy, and be able to have that sense of empathy. So each one of them had a trait. I didn't necessarily learn from one person. And that's, I think important too for everyone coming into the industry. And again, I always echo this to my students, is to find a mentor. Find someone in your workplace, and try to connect with someone that maybe has the same beliefs, or the same, I could connect with someone at work because they had a family and I had a family, and I really enjoyed the way that she was working. She was trying to balance, so I sort of looked at her for that. And I think that's what you need to do. I think you really need to, when you're working, find people that you can learn from, and because they've all been through it, they all have the experience. And sometimes they don't even realize they're doing it. And have conversations with them. Ask them questions. Ask them, offline, how do I deal with this? It doesn't make you that much less of a person. Older, when you're there to allow yourself to grow, you're a very strong person and you're very aware. And that's another trait you need to have in order to excel in this industry.
You know, with the point about the women being there in the industry at the top, it reminds me of an episode that I had last season with Sarah Thompson. She's a CSO at Mindshare. She
Yeah.
said, uh, uh, if there is a lady, a woman at the table, she should voice herself. She pointed out to Dorina too. It's really amazing to have such kind of women in the
Mhm.
industry at top notch. positions. It gives us the balance. It gives us the thing that, all the rights that they should have. And yeah, they should voice up that the things that we have been through. It's really important. So I was really influenced, and I'm really, feeling privileged to have you right now with us. It's been a pleasure that we are talking to you. Yeah. So
Oh,
it's quite good, pretty
thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, and just I wanted to probably talk about a different point about being able to be open to anything, like to new learning, to working hard. It's so important. And I think that kind of a little bit easier for us as international students, because if you're already here, you probably overcame so much. So you're open to anything. If someone is telling you your English is bad, you're like, it's okay. I will figure it out. I will learn. So you don't get upset. But sometimes, like when I was in Ukraine, for example, sometimes you feel like you're in a position when you're not able to grow and learn, and probably you don't have people around you who can support you. So it's so important to find that one thing that actually keeping you and being a barrier to your growth. So even right now in the position when we are all at home, it's so important to be able to adjust to this, to work remote, to find people, connect with them, still being social. So yeah, just encouragement for everyone to still grow every day, learn one
Okay,
important thing every day. So I think it's really important to do that right now.
100% agree. I'm a student. I'm growing
Yeah,
every day.
yeah. So that's what important. Be a student all your life. So totally agree with that point. Yeah, and to continue with other questions about even working right now at home, it's been so hard for all of us. And honestly, I actually never had a chance to work in the office. So like in my life, I never worked in the
Wow.
office. So in my last job, I didn't have a chance to see my manager like at all, except for like a couple of Zooms. That's it. So it's been like so hard for all of us, and
Yeah.
stay connected and stay inspired. So both keep you inspired and motivated every day at your work.
Every morning when I wake up, before I plant my feet on the ground, I always say thank you, because I believe it is a blessing to be able to get up and have purpose. And we all have purpose in life, regardless. And even for those that can't find a job or don't have a job and they feel that they don't have purpose, you do have purpose. It's just you have to continue just searching, and the right one will come along. So I just feel that I'm just blessed every day to be able to um, teach, first of all, to my students. I think that's a blessing that they have enough confidence in me to be able to teach them and guide them and direct them. Um, and I think it's also important to understand that we are going through change right now, a lot of change. The world is hurting, and I think it's important to understand that we are going through this motion, but that we will get out, and we're going to be fine. We're going to be absolutely fine. But one of the things that I did last year, um, Citrine actually launched a Stay Connected well-being series. It was actually called Stay Connected. And what I did, and I had a co-pilot of mine, or a co-host as well. His name was Boris Cho, amazing individual in the marketing advertising industry. And what we did on a bi-weekly basis is we were just listening to sort of LinkedIn and to people around us to understand who was hurting, who needed help, who needed advice. And so on a bi-weekly basis, we try to gather people who didn't even know each other and just get online and feel supported. We're humans, right? And we need that natural connection all the time. And so I think that helped me as well, is to understand that it's important to have that connection with people.
I have saw all the posts about that, series going on. Unfortunately, I will be honest that I wasn't able to take part in that, but I really appreciate that it will start again. I'll be there for sure. Reason being, my co-op was going on during that period, and it was always on Thursday, what I remember, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
somewhere on Thursday around in the afternoon, and what my co-op was going on, I wasn't able to be take part in that. So yes, but the thing that you did was really appreciable. I saw the post, and it was amazing, to be very honest. It was pretty amazing. And yeah, speaking about Boris also, he's an amazing person. I've met him like a couple of times in
Oh, good.
person. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
he's an amazing person, amazing professional, always ready to help you in whichever way he can. So yeah, he was that's an amazing co-pilot or co-host, whatever you want to say. That's really
Oh,
amazing.
what are you saying
You know that in itself. Yeah. So yeah, coming back to the questions. Yeah. So since you told us, that we learn every day, or you have always inspired everyone. You have been playing a major role in everyone's life. So let us talk about that. How do you play a role in your life as being a professor at one end at Sheridan College, and thereafter managing your consultancy on the other as a CEO?
Well, in my career, I've definitely learned how to manage time. That's for sure. And we in this industry are very much troubleshooters, and you have to learn how to think on the spot and troubleshoot. And although you're doing this and something else comes up, because it always will come up, you have to drop it and just do. And I think being exposed to all of that noise and all of that buzz allows me now to be able to manage my world very efficiently and very, quickly. Um, but at the same time, I have to, I'm very aware um, of what needs to be done. And so if that means that I have to work, beyond certain hours, or perhaps a little bit on the weekend, or whatever is needed in order for it to get done, then I'll do it. But it's always manageable. Of course, with boundaries, but it's always manageable. Yeah,
And probably I would say one of the most important skills right now is time management. So
absolutely.
yeah,
It's time management, but a lot of the discussions that we had on Stay Connected was, the whole thing about going to work and having an office space is I could leave it at the office and then come home, right? So as soon as I walk over my threshold into my home, I knew that that was a safe place, that I didn't have to think about work and, so on. But now what happens when, your kitchen becomes not only where you eat, but where you work, and, you're having business meetings and all this stuff. And so one of the things we talked about is you purposely, consciously have to create boundaries for yourself within your home. You have to be able to get up for a walk, or try to go somewhere else, or just try to do something that allows you to sort of separate. Otherwise, it can be overwhelming in terms of just mashing up the hours, and then it just becomes a blur.
yeah, it probably feels not like you're working like 40 hours a week. You work much more because honestly, it's same even for me. Like I wake up and I'm working already and feels like I'm working all day, and I'm working straight from like Monday to Friday and sometimes weekends. So it's so tough to find a way to find this distraction. And I think that's the very important of us because this is the part of the struggle when you're not able to like distract yourself from work and now understand what's work, what's your personal life, not to mix it together all the time.
It's important though. It's really important. I learned a lot about self-care, which is that's where sort of my advocacy comes in right now. And self-care is important now more than ever. When you are mindful that you have to have self-care, it allows you to show up. It allows you to show up for life. It allows you to show up for your family, your friends, but more importantly, you're showing up for yourself. you have made a statement that you matter. Because I matter, I'm going to take care of myself. Taking care of yourself is a whole slew of things, right?
Yeah.
It's refilling yourself when you feel depleted. It's soothing yourself when you're not feeling too great. It's ripping off that band-aid and sort of dealing with it. So it's so important to be able to take care of yourself, especially now.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Let's jump to our next questions. We have just a few questions. Yeah, before we finish. So yeah, thank you so much for that. A great point. And I think that everyone should really start taking care of themselves right now and understand what they need, because sometimes you just feel frustrated and you're like, but what's missing? What's that element that I need right now? So, and you go for food or you go for a walk, but that's not fulfilling you. So I think to add to this, like understanding of yourself, it's important. And this is the time for all of us to start understanding what's my personality is like, what people I want to have around me, like what should I have to actually be happy. So
Very true.
yeah. So, okay, let's jump to the next question. So, very interesting question, very, very creative. In the next 150 years, science and technology fails to save us, and all is left is a book about your life. So, what would be the title for the book, and what would be the blurb? Tell us about Cynthia Rubino and why.
Wow, who came up with that question? That's a great question. But to answer that, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say, um, my voice, my vision. There's more to me than meets the eye. Here's why. My voice is all about advocating for those that perhaps don't have a voice. My voice is all about advocating for those who need to be reminded and taught. And my voice is for those new generation coming in and teaching them and guiding them and directing them. My vision is a whole different story. My vision is all about not only vision that I have about the future and about media and about marketing, but I have so many ideations coming through. I'm constantly writing down ideas. If I told you the amount of ideas I have for 2021 on, and I'm just like just bursting out, I just want to execute everything. It's unreal. But there's more to me than just that. I've had to deal with a lot of adversity in life. I've had to deal with so many barriers, challenges, bullying. And I think if you actually get to know me beyond that, you'll understand me a lot more as a person. So
That's beautifully put up. That's really interesting that how you put up those three things in itself is a thing that people can't put up, but it's you have put up. I put up that question, but nevertheless, Darina asked that was in itself a good thing. And coming back to our last question, we just wanted to round up everything. We are just short of time, so just quickly wanted to ask you that if what's that one thing that you wish that you have known before you started your career, and one thing that you wanted to convey to all the young marketers out there.
um, take care of yourself because it's going to be a bumpy ride, but it's going to be an amazing ride. But you have
And
to take care of yourself.
yeah, for sure, I completely agree with that point. That's in itself is a great sum up. And to the second part of it, like what's one thing that you would have known before you began your own career,
Had I known,
before your advertising career, that one thing that you would have known.
um, I wish I would have. I wish I would have known um, to be able to perhaps have a little bit more confidence. Because getting into the industry, I was there, right? I was that 21, 22, however old. I was that person. I was so green that you could see me a mile away. And I didn't have enough confidence and all that stuff. I wish I had a little bit more because I had so much to offer.
I
And I
know.
felt that because I didn't have the industry experience, I felt that I didn't have enough to offer. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. You have
Yeah,
so many skills beyond what you think, and that in itself is so valuable.
yeah,
So you just have to
yeah.
believe and have confidence.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. People think that they have a lot of confidence and they should come up with. So yeah, I completely agree with that point. People should know that at their prime time and can come up with the ideas and to enter into the industry. Yeah. So yeah, that pretty much sums up. So I think so, Dorina, we should let Cynthia go for a cup of coffee or dinner. It's been a pleasure to have you,
That was
Cynthia.
so fun and quick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You.
we really appreciate it, and thank you so much for doing this. And please stay connected. Like, we can have always a conversation over a cup of coffee, and would love to have that session back of yours.
Absolutely. Here
Thank you
to
so much.
stay. Thank you so much for having me. Thank
Thank
you.
you thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Take
Okay.
care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.